There is a specific kind of laughter that follows people out of a room. Not the laughter of joy, the laughter of dismissal. The kind that says we have assessed you, and our assessment is that you do not matter enough to take seriously. Adaze had heard that laughter at Enugu Airport 6 years ago. Standing at the departure gate with one suitcase, a student visa, and the specific dignity of someone who has decided not to look back, they had laughed. Her uncle, his wife, 3 cousins, standing together near the entrance, not even bothering to lower their voices. Canada, her uncle had said, as if Canada is waiting for her. They had laughed. She had walked through the gate. 6 years later, she walked back through a different gate, and the airport fell silent. This is Royal Village Tales. Adaze was 22 when she left Nigeria. She had grown up in Enugu, not the wealthy part, not the part her uncle occupied, with his large compound and his generator and his children in private schools. The other part, a modest 2-bedroom house in a quiet neighborhood, where her mother, a primary school teacher named Mrs. Patricia Okafor, had raised Adaze and her younger brother Chidi alone, after their father's death, on a teacher's salary that required extraordinary management to stretch across every month. There was nothing dramatic about Adaze's childhood. Poverty. It was the ordinary kind, the kind that did not involve hunger exactly, but involved the permanent awareness that there was no margin, that a single unexpected expense could unbalance everything, and that the path forward required not just effort, but a specific kind of sustained, undistracted effort. That left very little room for anything, except the thing itself. Adaze was that kind of person. She had always been that kind of person. She finished secondary school at the top of her class. She finished her undergraduate degree, business administration at the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, with a first class that her lecturers described, privately among themselves, as one of the cleanest academic performances the department had seen in a decade. She applied for a postgraduate scholarship to Canada. She was offered at the family gathering to see her off. Had not been planned as a celebration. This was the first thing Adaze understood when she arrived at her uncle's compound the evening before her flight, that the occasion had been organized not in the spirit of sending off a young woman who had earned something remarkable, but in the spirit of performing family duty at minimal emotional cost. Her uncle, Mr. Fidelis Okafor, was her father's older brother, a man who had done well enough in Lagos real estate to fund a comfortable life in Enugu, and who had, since her father's death, occupied the position of family patriarch with the specific enthusiasm of someone who enjoyed the authority it conferred, considerably more than the responsibility it implied. He had not helped Adaze's mother during the years of difficulty.
This was not spoken about directly, but it was known the way such things are known in families, sitting beneath every conversation about other topics. He had also, twice in Adaze's memory, actively discouraged her ambitions, once when she was applying to university, suggesting that a secretarial course would be more practical for a girl in her situation, and once when she told the family she had applied for the Canadian scholarship, responding with the specific laughter of someone who finds other people's aspirations amusing. Canada, he had said that evening at the gathering, to his wife and the 3 cousins who had come and who had absorbed, from years of their father's modeling, his particular frequency of casual dismissal, as if Canada is waiting for her. These children today, no sense of what is realistic. They had laughed. Adaze's mother, sitting beside her daughter, had reached across and taken her hand. Adaze had looked at their joined hands. She had not responded to her uncle. She had not cried. She had simply held her mother's hand and gone to bed and woken at 4 in the morning and taken a taxi to Akanu Ibiam International Airport and stood at the departure gate with one suitcase, her mother crying. Behind the barrier, her brother, Chidi, standing straight and holding it together for their mother's sake, his jaw tight in the way it got when he was managing something difficult. She had looked back once. Her uncle and his family were near the entrance. He had said something. His wife had laughed. She had turned back to the gate and walked through. Canada was in fact waiting for her. Not in the way of easy welcome and immediate success. That is not what waiting means in this context, but in the specific way of an environment that rewards a certain kind of focused, disciplined, unsentimental commitment to work and which does not particularly care where you came from as long as you demonstrate consistently that you belong where you are. Adaze belonged. The postgraduate program was an MBA at the University of Toronto, fully funded, which meant that every hour of her time was her own to spend on the work, without the additional weight of financial anxiety that had accompanied every other educational phase of her life. She spent those hours with the specific intensity of someone who has been given something they understand the value of and intends not to waste it. She finished in the top 3 of her cohort. She was recruited before graduation by a Canadian infrastructure investment firm, the kind of company that manages large capital across multiple countries, and that recruits graduate students with the specific eye of someone looking for people who can handle complexity without needing their hand held. She spent 3 years there. She was promoted twice. She was asked in her 3rd year to lead the firm's expansion into West African markets, a role that had been offered to her not because she was Nigerian,
which was a coincidence of background rather than a qualification, but because she had demonstrated across 3 years the kind of judgment and steadiness that the role required, and the firm had learned, across those same 3 years, to trust that judgment. She accepted. 6 months into the West Africa expansion role, her firm identified Nigeria as a primary investment target, specifically infrastructure projects in the southeast, specifically Enugu State. The office her firm opened in Enugu, a regional hub for the firm's West African operations, occupying 2 floors of a new commercial building in GRA, required a formal launch. The launch required the presence of senior staff. Adaeze flew from Toronto to Enugu on a direct flight through Abuja, on a business class ticket paid for by the firm, to represent the company at the launch of an operation she had been instrumental in building. She landed at Akanu Ibiam International Airport on a Tuesday morning, the airport she had left from 6 years earlier, with 1 suitcase and the sound of her uncle's laughter following her through the gate. She did not know, walking through arrivals, that her uncle would be there. She did not know that Mr. Fidelis Okafor had been at that airport that Tuesday morning for an entirely separate reason, seeing off a business contact, a routine errand, the kind of ordinary airport visit that happens without significance 100 times a year. She did not know that he would be standing near the arrivals exit when she walked through. She did not know that he would see her before she saw him. What Mr. Fidelis Okafor saw when the arrivals door opened was this: a young woman, 28 now, though he would not have immediately placed her age, because something about her had changed in ways that made the arithmetic irrelevant, walking through the arrivals terminal of Enugu Airport with the specific quality of someone for whom airports are ordinary, for whom movement across large distances is simply the context of their working life rather than an occasion. She wore a well-cut dark coat over professional attire. She carried a laptop bag on one shoulder and a small carry-on behind her. She was speaking on her phone calmly in English, about a meeting scheduled for Thursday, about a document that needed to be circulated to the Abuja team before then, with the specific fluency of someone for whom these are simply the sentences of an ordinary Tuesday. 2 men walked slightly behind her colleagues, from their posture and attire, following her lead in the specific way of people who understand, without it being stated, who is the primary person in the group.
Mr. Fidelis saw all of this before he saw her face.
And then she turned, slightly adjusting the carry-on, and he saw her face, and he recognized her, and the airport did not literally fall silent, but something in the specific radius of his own experience of that moment went very quiet indeed. Addie saw him a moment later. She finished her phone call. "I'll see you Thursday. Let's confirm the agenda by end of Wednesday," and ended it, and looked up and found her uncle standing perhaps 20 feet away, his business contact having apparently departed, looking at her with the expression of someone who has encountered something he does not have an immediate framework for. She looked at him for a moment. He looked at her. The 2 colleagues with her had politely found reasons to be interested in their own phones. "Uncle Fidelis," she said. Her voice was exactly what it always was, calm, clear, carrying no particular weight of feeling, which was, she had found, the most appropriate register for this particular man. "Adaze," he said. His voice had changed from what she remembered. Not broken, simply different. The specific shift that happens when authority meets something it cannot organize around itself. "You, You came back? For work, she said. Our firm is opening an office here. We're investing in infrastructure in the southeast. A pause. Your firm, he said. I lead our West Africa expansion, she said. Not unkindly. Not performing anything. Simply accurate. We've been identifying infrastructure opportunities in the region for the last 6 months. Enugu is one of our primary targets. He looked at her. She looked at him. 20 feet of airport arrivals terminal. 6 years. 1 suitcase going in one direction, a laptop bag and colleagues in a Thursday meeting coming back. Your mother, he said. She must be very proud. She is, Adiz said. A pause. I'm going to see her this evening. After the office visit.
Yes, of course, he paused.
Adiz, I want to say. Uncle Fidelis, she said gently. Not unkindly, but with the specific finality of someone who knows what is coming and has decided, not from bitterness but from a clear-eyed understanding of what she needs from her own life, that she does not require it. You don't have to say anything. He looked at her. I think I do, he said. She looked at him for a moment. Then say it to Mama, she said. She is the one who stayed. She is the one who stretched a teacher's salary across every month for years without help. Whatever you want to say it to her. It will mean considerably more coming to her than to me. She picked up her carry-on. It was good to see you, she said. She walked toward the exit. Her colleagues fell in beside her. The airport moved around them. She visited her mother that evening, the 2-bedroom house in the quiet neighborhood, smaller than she remembered it. Or perhaps she had simply stopped measuring rooms by the standards of the places she had been in the years since. Her mother opened the door and looked at her daughter in the well-cut coat, with the professional bag with the specific quality of someone who has traveled a great distance and arrived, and Mrs. Patricia Okafor, primary school teacher, woman who had stretched a salary across every month alone, put her hands over her mouth and did not say anything for a long moment. Adiz took her mother's hands in both of her own. I'm home, Mama, she said. Her mother held her hands. I know, she said. I always knew you would be. Chidi was there too, 24 now, finishing his own degree in computer science at UNN, doing well with the specific, focused quiet that was their mother's primary inheritance. To both of her children. They ate together. Their mother had cooked jollof rice and chicken, the specific meal of homecoming, the smell filling the small house with the specific warmth of a place that has been a home regardless of its size. Adiz told them about the office, about the projects, about what the firm was building in the region. Her mother listened to all of it with the expression of someone who is not entirely surprised by what they are hearing, but is fully present for every word of it. I want to talk to you about Chidi, Adiz said eventually, about what happens when he finishes his degree. There are opportunities at the firm not because he is my brother, but because the kind of person he is would be genuinely useful to us, if he wants it. Chidi looked at his plate, then at his sister. I want it, he said. Their mother looked at both of her children. She did not say anything. She reached across the table and put a hand on each of their arms. The small house was very quiet for a moment. Outside, Enugu continued its evening. And inside, at a small table, with jollof rice and chicken and the specific warmth of a home, built on a teacher's salary, across difficult years, a family sat together. Complete. They had laughed at Enugu airport 6 years ago. Her uncle, his wife, 3 cousins. Canada, he had said. As if Canada is waiting for her. Canada had been waiting. Not with easy welcome, with something better than easy welcome, with a specific reward that comes to people who show up every day and do the work, without requiring the world to make it comfortable first. She had not returned to prove anything. She had returned because the work brought her here. Because this is where the investment opportunities were. Because this is where her mother lived. Because this is where the jollof rice was. The airport falling silent was not her goal. It was simply what happened. When the world finally caught up to what her mother had always known, real power is never loud. It simply endures. Royal Village Tales. This has been Royal Village Tales. Real power is never loud. It simply endures. If this story moved you today, if it made you think about the people who laughed at your departure gate, share it. Like, subscribe, turn on your notifications. The airport will fall silent. Just keep walking. Royal Village Tales.